Hi, good, good evening to all. Today I am going to read about the the Little Prince, which is written by the Antoine D. Saint Exupery. He was a pilot. He met a small boy in the Sahara Desert when he crashed his flight on the Sahara Desert. So it is imaginary story. It is not written by the real incident. So it is famous book. It is the imaginary book, The Little Prince. So now I read one by one. So once when I was 6 years old, I saw a magnificent picture in a book. True stories from nature about the forest. It was a picture of a boa constrictor in the act of swallowing an animal. Here is a copy of the drawing. In the book, it is said boa constrictors swallow their prey whole without chewing it. After that, they are not able to move and they sleep through the 6 months that they need for digestion. I pondered deeply then over the adventures of the jungle, and after some work with a colored pencil, I succeeded in making my first drawing. My drawing number one. It looked something like this. I show my masterpiece to the grown-ups and asked them whether the drawing frightened them. But they answered, frightened. Why should anyone be frightened by a hat? My drawing was not a picture of a hat. It was a picture of a boa constrictor digesting an elephant. But since the grown-ups were not able to understand it, I made another drawing. I drew the inside of a bioconstrictor so that the grown-ups could see it clearly. They need to have things explained. My drawing number two look like this. The grown-ups response this time was to advise me lay aside my drawing of bow constructors, whether from the inside or the outside, and devote myself instead to geography, history, arithmetic, and grammar. That is why, at the age of 6, I gave up what might have a magnificent career as a painter. I had been disheartened by the failure of my drawing number one and my drawing number two. Grown-ups never understand anything by themselves, and it is tiresome for children to be always and forever explain things to them. So then I choose another profession and learn to pilot aeroplanes. I have flown a little over all parts of the world, and it is true that geography has been very useful to me. At a glance, I can distinguish China from Arizona. If anyone gets lost in the night, such knowledge is valuable. In the course of this life, I have had a great many encounters with a great many people who have been concerned with matters of consequence. I have lived a great deal among grown-ups, and I have seen them intimately close at hand, and that hasn't much improved my opinion of them. Whenever I met one of them who seemed to me at all clear sighted, I tried the experiment of showing him my drawing number one, which I have always kept. I would try to find out so if this was a person of true understanding, but whoever was he or she would always say that is it had. Then I would never talk to that person about go constructors or primal forest or stars. I would bring myself down to his level. I would talk to him about bridge and wolf and politics and nectics, and the grown-up would be greatly pleased to have met such a sensible man. Thank you.